Hey everyone, Amazon Merch on Demand released hats a little while ago and I still don't have it. I think a third of us do. But in this video, I wanted to show you whether you have hats or not, how to design for hats, because it's not a straight take your t-shirt designs and shrink it into a hat. There's lots of different ways to design for hats, and a lot of times, most of the times, just shrinking your t-shirt designs into that will not help. So what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to show you good examples from TeePublic and Redbubble because they have had hats for a while. I'm going to take some of those best sellers. I'm going to teach you what I think sells best on hats, and then I'm going to show you some of my t-shirt designs and show you how I would change them to fit into hats. So if you're interested in learning how to design for hats, this is the video for you. I'm going to show you everything that I know about it, and we're going to do it all in Affinity by Canva. Let's go there now. Alright, so here we are on Affinity by Canva. I made this little thing here just to show you everything that I found and just to have it all in one place. So here's some t-shirt designs that I'm going to convert into hats. By the way, hat sizes right now, so this is the artboard I made for it, and you can do this too in Affinity. You can see down here 1500 by 675 pixels, so both pixels. So it's a longer rectangle according to the Amazon Merch on Demand size. And if you're doing it with AI, the aspect ratio is 20:9 or 2.2:1. So that will give you that, just if you want to make sure that you're doing it in the right size with AI. But let's take a look at some of these top sellers first. This one is from TeePublic. Now this isn't all of them. These are just a selection of the ones that I like. But look how simple they are here, and look at the color. First of all, most of them are dark colors, so that's gonna help you know what sells on there. And then if we zoom in here, like there's 3 words, 2 words, 4 words, 1 word, 1 word. What is this? Just 2 lines of words. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 words. There's 3 lines of words, 2 lines of words, 2 words. This one's kind of neat. It's kind of in an angle here. Let's move down here. A word inside of a graphic. This one I wouldn't do, but I just wanted to show you. You can't do Jurassic Park, but look at how that fits on a hat. It looks pretty good, right? With a circle and then some text along the bottom. You could take that idea of a circle and text just under the circle. This is more of a square, 3 words. This one's just a graphic, and so is this one. So graphics work as well as this one. Here's a long rectangle graphic, which is a keyboard, which is perfect. Look at this long rectangle graphic with words underneath. Another circle graphic and 2 words. So what do we learn from this one? Keep it simple, right? These are some of the best sellers, and it's super simple. Think of words that people would actually want to wear on their hats. A lot of times it's funny stuff. A lot of times it's something related to hobbies, and I'll get into some of the ideas here. But I want you to take a look at some of these just to get some ideas of what hats, good designed hats, look like. Hats that actually people want to buy, hats that sell, make sales. Kind of like this. Okay, so let's do Redbubble. They're different hats here. I don't think I picked the same ones. Yeah. So take a look at what sells here. Again, a lot of dark hats. There's some light ones too. So I know Amazon has a bunch dark and light. So let's just take a look at the design though. So the contrast also is something to look at because we have dark on light, light on dark. A lot of times white on black does really well. Long rectangle graphic, right? Look at this one. Nice design. We got 3 lines. This one has 3 lions on the ground. This one's kind of small and hard to read, but it's a bestseller because it's funny. I would probably stay away from text that's that small, but I think fans of this person probably bought it. You can see the text on this one's a lot bigger, and it's in that long rectangle. Again, a circle shape does really well. 3 lines here. This is kind of hard to read actually, but I think the poppy sticks out. Here's another circle. Here's again kind of 3 lines. We got the stars, we have the shield, and then a name over here. Another graphic that's kind of a taller graphic. Still works because there's no words. You can see the graphic. Graphic works a little better when it's tall. I mean, of course, a long graphic, but I'm saying if you put words in here, that would be really hard to see. But because it's a graphic, it's a lot easier. Here's another graphic that's a long rectangle. Here's a graphic that, because the whiskers go out, makes that long rectangle shape. A saying does really well, short saying. This arch thing with text I think can do really well with some kind of graphic in the middle here. And there's another one, just a word. Here again, 3 lines, the words are pretty big with a graphic in the middle. Here's another 2 lines with a smaller one in the middle here, but you can see the Liam brothers stand out here. A graphic, 3 lines, and then this is kind of 3 lines too, so that little line text, bigger text, and a graphic. So let's take a look at that. Just kind of look and see what you see on here with the hats, where it's very graphic heavy on the Redbubble side, less words, but there are some words ones that work. And so it's very simple design. Like some of these, like this yup, really easy to design. Text with a quote, very easy to design. If you're looking for graphics that like just do it in a long rectangle, I think those help. And take a look at some of these colors too. So very simple colors. I mean, this one has vintage colors, but for the most part, they're either black on a light one, black and white, dark on light, white on black, single color, right? A lot of times, either single color. Very few times does it use a lot of color. Here's an example. Here's some colors in the flag and so on. All right, so I want to show you some best practices. I wrote that down here. So some best practices that we saw on both of those designs. Definitely use less than 10 words. Usually what we saw was 1 to 4 words. Words need to be easily seen and read. We saw some examples of that, but for the most part, I would say big, bold text that you can see, especially on when people are wearing their hats like this, you can see. Long rectangle, square, or circle. So most of the time it's long rectangle, but a square or circle can kind of work too as a graphic. Very little colors we saw, usually 1 to 2 colors. Very few times was it more than 2 colors. High contrast, so if it's a dark hat, light colors. If it's a light hat, dark colors. And a lot of times it's black hat, white, right, white colors. And very simple designs. So we don't want a lot of detail on these. We want to keep it simple. If you have so much detail and that's such a small space, the details will get lost. So that's why simple designs. All right, another thing is these are some of the best topics after looking at some of the best sellers, what I think would sell well on hats. So funny sayings, we saw that a lot on there. Simple graphics, even graphics that don't have any words, just graphics. I think those did really well. We saw some with just the cat, right? Music related, we saw the keyboard. Country, state, or city. So we saw Italian or Italia. We saw some other cities or things that stand out. I think this one's good because there's always fans of that city or state, and that they probably would buy a hat to represent that. Family stuff like best grandpa or best mom or dog mom or things like that. That does really well. Animals, we saw a lot of cats, and I think other animals would do well. Dogs, of course, and others. We also got fishing, which is a hobby. So a lot of hobbies I think would do well. I put fishing out here, but I think other hobbies would do well too. Outdoors, people love to wear hats outdoors, of course. So that kind of is related. We saw birth year, vintage. I forget the year, it was 1975 or whatever. So years that with big, bold. In fact, year dates work really well because if you put just the year, it's always like a long rectangle anyway. So those can really do well. Just the year by itself, unless it's something really significant like this year, 2026 or something, I would actually put some words with the year, why people are wearing the year on their hat. So veterans, we saw some of those. Veterans love wearing hats. Asian inspired ones, I think that we saw some of those. That's just a hot topic right now. So I think that especially if you do some Asian lettering or symbols and things like that, I think those can be really, I think people are looking for those kinds of things when they're looking for hats. Right now, those can really stand out. And lastly, sports. So of course, you can't do NFL teams or NBA teams, but you can do generic sports things on there. So sports colors, you could do a sports logo, not a sports logo, but a sports kind of mascot, but not a real mascot. You could do a football or basketball or baseball on there by itself, which is kind of more generic. So think generic sports for that one. And this isn't an exhaustive list, but I think these are some of the ones that you could do if you can't think of anything to design for hats. Look for some of these that you may have already and maybe change them for hats or make something original. So speaking of changing for hats, let's take a look at this again. So here's a sports one that does well for me, but how would I change this to a hat? So I'm going to take this whole thing, put it in here, and you can see if I was going to put it on a hat, it would look like that. But remember to back up a little bit, and if you did, it would be hard to read this. So what I would probably do is get rid of this part. And for a t-shirt, I would just go like that. I mean, for a t-shirt, for a hat, go like that. And then maybe pick my P up here, just so I got there. So that feels a lot better. This go is still kind of small, but the sports takes up the main thing. And I think that would do really well. And again, like, you might want to do it on a black hat. So let's put this here. I'm gonna hold down Option, drag this here, make this background black so we can see it, and maybe make all of this white because we're gonna do that contrast, right? So, whoops, wrong way. Boom, 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 0, 0, 0. I think that could do really well on a black hat, and I would do a blue on a white hat, or a red on, you know, maybe it's a red on a white hat. Those kinds of things stand out. So think of different sports colors in this case. And I could have even gone a little bit more and bring the G down, you know, and then kind of move things around so that I can fill in that space, right? So make sure to center it too. So one way you can center it is this right here. Oh wait, you'd have to group it first. Group, Command G, center it on here. And that's perfect. I think that would work really, really well. All right, let's take a look at this one. This is kind of a one that I did before for Valentine's. It kind of works, but I think what would work better is trying to move some of these things up closer so we have the line, so we can move these things a little bit and kind of fill the space a little bit more, right? So we could take heart down even more, kind of thing, kind of massage it just so we take kind of the maximum area that we can on here. So there you go, just a little bit of change here, and I think that would do really well. And again, white, red for Valentine's, definitely. So I would probably do red on white, or if you have a red hat, I think I would make it white, right? So we can come on here, copy this, and then make it a red. Let's see, let's do the background like that. We can't see it, so we make this white. See how easy it is? I would do something like that. Oh, we have this swoosh down here too that I made. And then maybe leave this pink, maybe but a lighter pink, right? Like that. That would do well on a red one. I don't think black, just because white and red for Valentine's Day. All right, here's another one that works well on a t-shirt, but then when we put it here, it is in that size. Like, that probably could do well, but I think what would do better is I would just take the Las Vegas out. And then this could do better by itself. So always look for like what works better inside of that long rectangle. And I think that could do well. Now this was circle shape, like we said, circle could work, but because the letters are so small, I'd probably stay away from it. Okay, what would you do with something like this? This is so big, and this is something, like I said, wouldn't work on a, you can't just take a t-shirt design and then shrink it and put this inside on a hat like that. That's just way too small. This stay at home would be so small. Think of it like kind of like this. Look how small that would be on the thumbnail. People wouldn't even know what it says. So again, I would take only some of it, and I would probably take the dog mom part, because that's the part that's important. And I would bring that here, and I would just stretch that out. like that. See, dog mom. I think that could do really well. Or I could, now that we say we have a little bit, we could take some of this and just be born to be a dog mom. Boom. Right? So you can adjust your what you're doing for your hats. Just make sure, think of long rectangle. Okay, one more. Sometimes, like if you put this in, again, it's too small. I wouldn't do that. And sometimes it's hard to like know what to put in the middle. Like what would I cut out of here? Would it just be camping with a chance of drinking? Like that could work. Let's try that. So this, I think this could work right here. But if that doesn't make sense, like why would we say camping with the weekend forecast is the thing that makes it. So you might have to play around with this. You might have to pull this down and then do weekend forecast up here in the same thing. So you might have to just like do camping by itself. So this will take a lot, and sometimes it might not be worth it to take this whole thing. I would probably do weekend forecast, camping, and then do with a chance of drinking. But because it's so long that we saw some of those that didn't have that long sentences, you kind of want to keep it down to 2 or 3 words, like we said. And so I probably wouldn't even do something like this in here, because this works better on a t-shirt, and it kind of doesn't work on a hat unless you can reword it or use different fonts that's maybe condensed, and it has to be something. But because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 words, I probably would think of something else. So those are some ideas on there. Use some of your t-shirts that work well on this, and then you don't have to change every single t-shirt into a hat. It doesn't always work. That's kind of what I'm saying here, but you can see how I did it with some of these. So there you go. Those are my ideas for hats. Take a look at those. Again, best practices, best topics for hats. Hopefully this was really helpful for you if you're trying to design hats for Amazon. So there you go. That's my video for hats. Hopefully this was really helpful for you, so you can kind of see what best-selling hats look like and get some ideas and be inspired on what to make for Amazon merch on demand. Now, if you want to see another hat video that I did one when TeePublic came out with hats, so I'll put that one right here. And that one actually has some ideas for hats as well. So if you're wanting to learn more about that, I think that's a great one. Thanks again for watching. And as always, keep creating and keep learning. I'll see you on the next one.